Original, Kimba. Ella lo baila. ¿Quieres de mí? Original, todo para ti. Hey baby, original y originini. Yo no tengo como un cromo de panini. Si viene el Kimba lo reventó con en altavoz y bien compreniga. Estoy con el chico para soltarlo bien tranquilito. Ese Kimana, el Kimaneto, porque tiene el ritmo y esqueleto. No vi, ella no vio nada. Cuando suelto ritmo parece en la boca nada. No soy un dragón pero suelto llamaradas. No soy un cabrón pero sueno que te cagas. Original y parecen bandadas de cuervos volando que viene a matar. Si quieres algo del magneto siempre ves buscando un ritmo. Es original, siempre suena fresco. Lo mejor me lo merezco. No tenemos parentesco, golazos de parece popescu. Hey, original el maneta ha llegado pa' soltar los ritmos sentados. Si quieres algo bueno pues yo vengo de un pasado. Desde lejos, hace tiempo, no soy viejo. Estoy atento, estoy contento. El entrecejo, no lo ves, escondí hace tiempo. Original representa hace radio, el Netflix de Europa. Pa' venir a reventar todos los escenarios y llevarme la copa.
Un aplauso, hermano. De Easy, haceme algo ya para culminar.
Hostia puta, tío, qué bueno.
¿Te dejo ahí mismo ese? ¿O te pongo otro?
Pónmelo al principio, va.
¿El principio, este mismo? ¿O te pongo otro?
Este está bien.
¿Este está bien? Vale. Desde el principio entonces. Ahí va, atención.
Estamos en Nazi Radio International Real. Hey, hemos vuelto a la casa del Real Netflix de Europa. Bombo claro, dice. Don't stop, everybody don't stop. Llegó el general para prender el club. Hey, sing it boy, then yabadabadu. Con mi cruz solo tú, dan mi luz. Hey, sing it badu. Don't stop, everybody don't stop. Llegó el general para prender el club. Sing it boy, then yabadabadu. Con mi cruz solo tú, dan mi luz. Everything come through. Ooh girl, think you better. I think you clever. Hey, stay, my fucking old nigga. Hey girl, think you better. I think alone, my brother. Everybody come on, nego, hace radio, está fresco. Dice, mueve el cadera, mueve tremendo. Suena perfecto, filo beca. Suena perfecto, viene el del ritmo del ghetto. Band the fuck internacional. Hey, nego, the fama no really nobody. Si mueve el estilo, suena fenomenal. Suena bien guapo que viene los ritmos. En radio siempre suena fenomenal. Mueve cadera, mueve tremenda. Ese Kimaneto, el rey de la fiesta. Suena guapo, te lo digo, Zacarías. Así que dale, on the freak, nego.
Copyright disclaimer. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to the content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles did not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of United States copyright law states material and use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same
Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins.
Viven huyendo de la envidia como los niños en Siria de la bomba que le manda el Pentágono. Y todo el día, mamá mía, keeping it mood, that's a real love, man, I never fear, never, no. La travesía de la vida más que misericordiosa y nuestra prosa siempre para allá favor, no. Tú podrás por mí traicionar a tu familia, matar tu brazo sangre si vos sabías, pero yo no. Familia, familia, es el que está a la mínimo. Familia, familia, comparte almas cristalinas. Familia, familia, Rastafarian familia. Familia, familia, Magna White son familia, ya no maniga.
هواجالي شو من حالي وشو من حالي هلي بالك ربي كبير وربي عالي واللي جاي يديني اليوم وباغي سالي ربي يغفر لي ولا دراري هواجالي شو من حالي وشو من حالي هلي بالك ربي كبير وربي عالي واللي جاي يديني اليوم وباغي سالي ربي يغفر لي ولا دراري un sueño donde no había amor se perdía el color de una flor se marchaba lentamente con el sol en el horizonte hacer algo para calmar mi dolor. Ya por eso que le ponga flow. Viviendo alto siempre. Burruco bimba. Y es que todo por la familia. Burruco bimba. Y es por eso vengo a bendecir. Burruco bimba. Y es que todo por la familia. Burruco bimba. Y es por eso vengo a bendecir.
Familia, familia, es el que está a la mínimo. Familia, familia, comparte almas cristalinas. Familia, familia, Rastafarian familia. Familia, familia, Magna White son familia, ya no maniga.
Magna super escalón, subiendo a nuevo escalón. Metallic in the salon, esquivo like si de Stallone. Esos stage van del palo, pero bitch no rascan balón. Aunque me enrollo nada cáñamo, nunca me paro. Aunque van tras de mí, no se pueden medir. Buscan el elixir, está metalizado. Y es que yo soy así, no van a descubrir sexy flow y skill con este descaro. Si familia necesita de ti, fíjalo. Por Connection Antarctic Field, dígalo. A mí nadie quería de Paris, día yo. Los magnates han llegado, están aquí, píalo. Para soportar el dolor como no imaginas, es la vida en ámbar. Aunque creas que no puedes tú solo con la movida, yo llevaré tus bambas. Familia, familia, fighting the hate and the media. Familia, familia,
It's original, man, now.
familia, familia, fighting the hate and the media. Familia, familia,
Yo soy un rocket, ellos abrilia.
con los míos siempre se lo baila. Menea melena, remueve la vaina. Aunque agarre fuerte el fruto para que no se caiga. Son los magna de boss final. Con los míos siempre se lo baila. Menea melena, remueve la vaina. Aunque agarre fuerte el fruto para que no se caiga. Son los magna de boss final.
Dispara millas sin mirar y sin mirar sin asimilar que es la puta herida de tu vida hurgo. Los manates la chatarrilla hacen pa' pillar, piltrafillas, tres donos nos pilla y se va con la furgo. Dará falta una pedicura y una cura si se apura, quizás llega la locura de mi turbo. Dale vueltas a la partícula, deja ya la mandíbula quieta que sola llega a Luxemburgo.
Niño, prepara la compota que la pera pata.
Pero vinimos a mejorarla,
Pa' hablar por mi familia y tengo autoridad.
saben que no puedo cagarla.
Y poner ritmo y los manos de todas cuatro patas. ¿Quieres esa vaina? Va a probarla. Toda la que en el party tan desacata. What the fuck, what the girl, what an alma. Vivimos huyendo de la envidia como los niños en Siria de la bomba que le manda el Pentágono. Y todo el día, mamá mía, keeping it mood, that's a real love, man, I never fear, never, no. La travesía de la vida más que misericordiosa y nuestra prosa siempre para allá favor, no. Tú podrás por mí traicionar a tu familia, matar tu brazo sangre si vos sabías, pero yo no. Familia, familia, es el que está a la mínimo. Familia, familia, comparte almas cristalinas. Familia, familia, Rastafarian familia. Familia, familia, Magna White son familia, ya no maniga.
Bombo cry, sing it, sing it, sing it, sing it, cross the line on them. Warrior, vengo con los míos, magna que cual fire them. Bombo cry, sing it, sing it, sing it, sing it, cross the line on them. Warrior, vengo con los manas y saqué cual fire them. I could stop, shut up on the microphone ballad, and the smoke the marijuana, psycho Buddha bombo clap, bang bang in the street, fire burning. kill. Stop chat upon the microphone ballad. And the smoke the marijuana psycho Buddha bombo clan. Bang bang in the street, fire burn the villa with key cray. Is a king, Magnus thing. Nobody no kill them. In a crazy style. Challenge no fire them. It's a Rasta ganja. Nobody no kill them. It's a crispy style. Tally no fire cream. It's a Rasta ganja. Familiar. Rasta chai is familiar. Key cray is familiar. Pure nego is familiar. Sico, Key Magneto, familiar. Es el que está a la mínima. Familia. Compactar en las cristaleras. Familia. Rasta Zion familia. Magna boy que te aplasta, nego.
El autor viene a decirnos con mucha firmeza y gran convencimiento lo mismo que nos decía en el siglo XVIII el barón de Holbach, ¿no? Un filósofo francés de origen alemán. Si nos remontamos al comienzo, entonces hallaremos que la ignorancia y el temor crearon a los dioses. La fantasía, el entusiasmo o el engaño los adornaron o desfiguraron. La debilidad les rinde culto, la credulidad los conserva, la costumbre los respeta y la tiranía los apoya para que la ceguera de los hombres sirva a sus propios intereses.
Okay. Sounds good. We're ready to go. Yakuzu doing well. Think the sounds as well. Not many people here today. No problem. All right. Seems like 2 people. It's all good. We don't need a big crowd. We don't need a big crowd. But let me remind y'all.
¡Viva México, cabrones!
And for you,
Fuck that puto.
let me do it again. For you, Chiwis,
Fuck that puto. Fuck that puto.
okay? So I hope y'all having a good day so far. Hold on, let me get rid of this. I don't know what the hell's going on with this. Bam. Let me get rid of that. Can't get rid of that screen for some reason. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right, so saludos to everybody, man. You guys that are new here. 2 people. I go by Joshua. Welcome to Meshiacha Chronicles. I got something interesting to show y'all today. Listen, I have no problem with people that are about our gente and they want to bring out facts. but I got a problem with you're a liar. So because I have some stuff to do, I'm gonna hurry up and get to my point. I'm gonna talk less as much as I can. We're going to touch on this video real quick. We just want to show you real quick, but I'm gonna show you some other stuff before we start. I always call this guy culo miados because that's what he is. You know what I'm saying? As you can see, no reply, nothing. And that's before, that's in the past. So he knows who the hell I am. Ain't no fucking joke. Yeah, he got a lot of subscribers, and I don't mean shit to y'all. I'm like an ant compared to his channel. 550,000, of course. Our so-called measly 500 don't matter to him. Definitely. But this is what I am going to be going over. This right here. So I remember I told you guys that I had this video of him, the actual real video of this here, the real footage of the French Guyana. So we're going to go through it real quick. I'm going to bring you guys some books because you know how I do it. You know what I'm saying? So let me get this going real quick. All right, hold on a second, people. Just a couple things as to why. You know, we gotta.
So I've been doing some research.
Destroy this shit, and brother
and
BTC, man, this is not yours, but you know, appreciate what you do, bro. Let's begin. Let's go. So we got some confusion, some confabulation. You guys have already heard what I mean by that. Filling in the gaps of vague memory. Okay, so here's one of them.
I came across this book, as you can see, in the Library of Congress, right? This book, The Original History of America, Ancient America, the original history of ancient America. I'm just gonna leave this right here so you can read what it say right there. But how about this? The present writer will not yield to any man in the firm belief that the Aborigines of North America, but North America only, and the ancient Israelites are identical. Bruh, what is going on, fam? Bruh.
So you brothers or sisters that are indigenous gente, right? That run into this on TikTok and then you hear Bible stuff and you just, I don't know what to do. Well, you're going to have to learn some of it. Because this is why they want your history. Whether you don't want to embrace it, I don't know. But there is a spiritual value in being who we are. Okay? One example. Example number 2. And this is why I do what I do, because I don't know if you guys know, if you guys are new to this channel, I'm known by Joshua, the Canaanite Slayer, because that's what I do. I be slaying these fools because they don't hit back. Apparently they get cut too much. I don't understand why. Anyways, but now I think I need some, I need to slice some of these wobbles up. And while I'm doing that, I'd like to share the stuff that I have. So let's begin. Again, this is a brother VTC. Check out his channel if you guys haven't. All right, let's go. Another example, just giving you guys some get downs here real quick. You guys got to know what's going on in people's minds, because then you need to understand why it's important to learn your own history. Let's go and prove as to if it's true or not. Because if it's not, if it's true, then hey, it is what it is. But if it's a fucking lie, then you cannot shut your ass up and sit your butt down and say, oh, well, maybe they're right. No, fuck no, man. Study your shit. Let's go.
We don't have any more time for games. The time for games is over. The time for standing up is now. Get your ass in the pit. Who are the Chiwimiiism? The Chiwimiiism are the pyramid and mound building civilizations of the Americas. Yes, these very pyramids that the America has 2,000 plus of. Now look at that image on the right side of the screen, and you tell me who that man is. Yes, someone who traced their history back and found that we are the originals of the Americas.
So now that we're on that subject, let me just interject quickly. And let me see if I saved it. If I didn't, I will pull it up real quick. No, I didn't. Okay. I'll do it this way. There is a reason for all sorts of things like that. But even then, let's start carving out the difference between the change in name, because it is important to understand. This is extremely important. You see, remember, family, there was a war between these two people. And when they started losing political power, they kind of had to shift back and forth what they could gain and not gain. So there is such a thing called white standard. For you guys that don't understand what that means, do your homework in regards to around 1845 through 1855 through 1875 or 65-ish, somewhere on those times. You can see in a lot of snippets, articles that talk about these things and tell you the political struggle. So it says here, the use of the terms Negro and Black to include persons of Native American ancestry in Anglo-North America. No, why would that be important? No, we'll see. In 1854, the California State Supreme Court. Now keep this in mind that 1854 is only 6 years after Mexico lost it. You see this all, it's moving real fast, isn't it, right? However, they make up these laws here. It says here, because now they're on this side. So now they're also dealing with people like ourselves. You understand that? And terminologies at that time, negrito, we still used it. In case you guys don't know that you're not from Mexico, then we still use those terminologies. Well, I don't know about now, but I'm close to my 50s, so yes. It says here, the word black, in 1854, the California State Supreme Court sought to bar all non-Caucasians from equal citizenship and civil rights. The court stated, now, Caucasian also meant white, so they were fighting for something called white standard. Don't forget about that. Then it says here, the court stated, the word black, and you have to pay attention to this, the word black may include all Negroes, but the term Negro, you see the word black, but the term Negro, so there's Negroes and then Negro, a branch of, so to speak, maybe. It says, but the Negro does not include all Black persons. We are of the opinion that the words white, Negro, mulatto, and Black person, whenever they occur in our Constitution, must be taken in their generic sense. So now we're seeing a division of white, Negro, mulatto, and Black person. But we're seeing here a video here. Somebody saying that all of a sudden now around here. What do you mean 1865 Black? But Black was being used back here too. And Negro or Black basically is the same thing. But you wouldn't know that because you're not from over there. You don't speak Spanish. You don't know the actual rich cultural history of it. And it says here, we are of the opinion that the words white, Negro, mulatto, and Black person, whenever they occur in our Constitution, must be taken in their generic sense. That the words Black person in the 14th section must be taken as contra-distinguished from white and necessarily includes all races other than Caucasian. And it says, as convoluted as the quote may be, not really, but it is. Because the word black may include all Negroes, but the term Negro, classifying itself different from black, does not include all black persons. So if you're under the term called Negro, that doesn't mean you are a black. And it says, we are of the opinion that the word white, Negro, mulatto, and black person, this isn't, 1854. So we're starting to see the difference between Negro and black. Why? Pheno or colorism? Hair or no hair? Whenever they occur. So we are seeing here now that there's a division. Now, check this out. As convoluted as quoted may be, it tends to express a strong tendency in the history of the United States towards creating two broad classes of people, white and non-white, citizens and non-citizens. So again, this has to do with the topic. The culprits of ism. Ism is part of this here. So just as convoluted the word Negro may be, or black, so has copper color. And I'm going to show you. The tendency to create a two-caste society often clashes with the reality of a territory. So remember, this is also included in the statement because in 1854 in California, you guys were newer to this territory. You had people like me still here. Yeah, in case you don't know. So be mindful in the context what you're reading. Because Wabo-ism will twist this shit around because they don't know. I don't know if they don't know how to read. I don't know if they don't know how to read in context. Maybe they read one paragraph and they forget what they read before or the purpose of the entire article. Because it says here, the tendency to create a two-caste system, here's why it's saying this. Society often clashed with the reality of a territory which included many different types of people. Why? Because it wasn't like an isolated situation like, for example, Europe or Africa. Or let's say, that's the best example to put. Right? It's just a perfect example. Because here were an admixture, so to speak, of all colors and different degrees of intermixture of European, American, African, and Asian. Hold on a second here.
Fuck that puto.
You're a liar. All of you guys that are actually going around twisting this stuff around here, even in 1854, there was a degree of understanding that there was a European, American, African, and Asian, which is not Native American, like you say. Hello. Now, Native American people, whether of unmixed ancestry or mixed with the other stocks, were at times affected by the tendency to create a purely white, black social system. Why do you think now this article is being read this way? Because since 1492, this establishment had always been about that, excluding the indigenous gente. You need to wake up. That's what you're missing. You're not seeing this. That's the matrix that you're being played on. It says here, why was it difficult to create this type of caste system here? Because it wasn't like a black and white thing, like I told you. Europeans, Africans, so to speak. Native American people, whether of unmixed ancestry or mixed with other stocks, were at times affected by tendency to create a purely white black social system, especially when living away from a reservation or an ancestral homeland, which is why they had a difficult time dealing with assimilation. That's why so-called black people assimilated to America. Why do you guys think you hold on to that shit? Now, because you don't even know where you forget where you're from. That's all you cling to now. So the only reservation you have left is to say you're from here, or that you are a Maya or an Aztec, so-called, or a Mexica. In the British slave colonies of North America along the Atlantic coast, many persons of American ancestry were at times classified as blacks. Listen, many persons of American ancestry were at times classified as blacks, Negroes, mulattoes, or people of color, and these terms were, of course, used for people of African ancestry. The manner in which Americans, in part Americans, were sometimes classified as mulattoes, and people of color from New England to South Carolina and from Spanish Empire are explored elsewhere. So here from New England to South Carolina and Spanish Empire. So here's the difference. You know why I'm saying that? Because England and South Carolina was British Empire. British Empire, different from Spanish empires. The purpose here is to illustrate how the term Negro has also been applied to people of American descent. Excellent point. But let's continue.
Tutul-Shu was a Mayan chiefdom in the central Yucatan Peninsula before the Spanish arrived in the 16th century. The chiefdom's capital was Mani, and the Tutul-Shu were a ruling family. Here's some information about some members of the Tutul-Shu family.
Let's go to Harvard University, Peabody Museum of Archaeology and Ethnology. And this right here is Nemesio Shu. You see that? And these are more Shu family members. The little boy is Andres Shu and his mother. You see that? These people are still there, man. You guys are literally taking people's identity that are still there. That's crazy. These are the Shu family men, the man in the family.
There's so many sources on the Shu family. Y'all just want to steal someone's name. Like you're stealing candy. Unbelievable. Also, using this page from Speaker Hub don't help you at all. This is just another ethnocentric with a suit and a tie. Trying to get hired to speak garbage at your venue.
So let's read that here real quick. It says, Powhatan is a proud Freemason of Northern Masonic jurisdiction, a 32nd degree Scottish Rites member and Masonic scholar, as well as a noble of Shriners International. Hold on. Excellent finding.
He says dumb things like the Maya and Olmec were called Tutul-Shu. When that's incorrect, Tutul-Shu is a Maya chiefdom's name, it's a family bloodline. Plus your man's is a Freemason, a damn Shriner. Wow, just wow.
You guys are impatient bastards. Anyways, it's all good. I'm not tripping. So let's get to the nitty gritty. All right, so we got Cornholio right here. And we're going to speed up his talk because he talks real slow. I think that'll be good. Let me see. That's not too bad. The first one was like a better one. Shit. All right, there goes. I'm not going to promote his stupid ass intro and shit. It's kind of weird. It's like you're a fucking alien. All right, so here it is right here, fam. Okay, so apparently this dude here, right, thinks he's a scholar. Rare 1950s footage of Indians in South America. Okay, so he says, we're going to dissect it. I'll show you some material. I'll give you guys some references to some books, and then you guys decide what you think. Okay, I'm not here to influence nobody because you guys don't give a fuck anyways. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, this channel ain't nobody. I understand. I don't mean nothing. It don't matter, but it matters to me. It matters to me. So I really don't give a shit. If it offends people, and if you don't like me, well, oh well. You know, if you think I'm gonna be playing nice with facts, you're stupid. You're in the wrong channel. So let's begin. Let's see what this guy supposedly he found. Let's look at some of the books that he says, and then we're gonna try to read them too. All right, let's go.
Wow. Hey, much love and respect. Thanks for tuning in once again. Quick video today. Wanted to upload this rare old video footage, a small documentary about a trip into the interior parts of South America back in the 1950s. You're gonna see a lot of copper-colored tribes down there. So
I hope you can hear him. So he says you're gonna see a lot of copper-colored tribes, Jenny. Now I'm playing it super fast because this guy talks extremely slow. It doesn't matter to me. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. I don't give a shit how you guys talk. But that's why he sounds weird. All right. He don't talk this way. But let's listen in to what he's saying real quick. All right. Let's go.
So-called Negroes. Just want to emphasize.
As the copper colored, right? I'm sorry, right when I pressed it, he says the so-called Negroes after saying the copper color. Okay. So let me play that back. Give me a second.
You're going to see a lot of copper-colored tribes down there, so-called Negroes. Just want to emphasize, you got to empty your cup, especially if you're new here. These are not African runaways, and these are not people who came from Africa before Europeans arrived. These are indigenous people to the Americas. This is what they look like. We're going to begin, for example, just reading from a couple of sources.
Remember what he's saying, okay? This is extremely important. Listen to this. Let's go. Again, I believe, whether or not you believe, I believe in God. I believe in a higher creator. And I do believe that everything that you say, everything you fucking say is recorded. And it will come back to haunt you. It will come back to haunt you. Okay, I believe that. I don't know about you guys, but I do. So let's go. Let's listen to this, okay? Pay attention.
They're not people who came from Africa before Europeans arrived. These are indigenous people to the Americas. This is what they look like. We're going to begin, for example, just reading from a couple of sources that we've gone over before.
So here's where he justifies these so-called sources. And I won't touch on every single one of them, but I will get to the point as of regards to a terminology here. Remember that not all blacks are Negroes, but not the term on the Negro are all blacks, something like that. Okay, so here he goes to Atlantic Journal, Friends of Knowledge. No, now look, you guys can get the book. I'm telling you right now that maybe out of 500 pages, this is the only shit that he'll find as close as it can get to some kind of wobbleism. Okay, so, I mean that's kind of pretty much what I see factually. I don't know what else you guys may find, but listen to this. It says the Americans cannot have sprung from a single nation because independently of the languages, their features and complexions are as various as in Africa and Asia. Okay, no big deal. And we find in America, white, tawny, brown, yellow, olive, copper, highlighting copper. Okay. And even black nations as in Africa, meaning we're talking about colors here. Why would you think that all of a sudden the phenotype matters when he just mentioned features in the dash prior to mentioning we find? The features in complexions, right? We find in America, white, tawny, yellow, copper, and even black nations as in Africa, meaning skin color, not hair, not phenotype. Also dwarfs and giants, handsome and ugly, featured flat, equiline nose, thick and thin lips. Okay, but you focus on copper. Let's continue.
Before we go ahead and show that
Hold on. Let me see.
video.
Another copper.
It says here, Atlantic Journal and Friends of Knowledge, a cyclopedic journal and review of universal science and knowledge, historical, natural, medical, arts, and sciences with numerous figures. Editor C.S. Brafinsky, Professor of Historical Natural Sciences. This is from Volume 1, Philadelphia, 1832. And it says, the Americans cannot have sprung from a single nation because independently of the languages, their features, complexions are as various as in Africa and Asia, okay? Just like in Africa and Asia.
No, he didn't say. Well, first of all, various complexions and features as in Africa and Asia. So why wouldn't this land be African if you guys look like that? Let's continue.
We find in America white, tawny, brown, yellow, olive, copper, and even black, even so-called black nations as in Africa, just like in Africa, okay? We already got the references of the Californians having the same color as the Guinea Negroes, right? In our last California video. It's the same thing. It says here.
We're going to read about that too.
Also dwarves and giants, meaning people of short stature and very tall people. Handsome and ugly features, flat and alkaline noses, thick and thin lips, all right? All sorts of different features and phenotypes. And since we're going to be showing a video in South America, it kind of correlates with this map right here that was done in 1519. This is called the Miller Atlas map. You can Google it, you can look for it, research it. From 1519, this is just a part of it, a section I took, it's closed in, of South America, all right? And this is what it's showing, all right? This is what it's showing right here. So when you're about to see some rare footage of him going into these jungle villages in South America, you're gonna see what these people look like, all right? Just like this person right here in this map that they drew, all right? Just like these people they drew here. Some with the long hair, some with the short hair.
5 p.m. already. You can't be open.
And again.
Okay, so we keep seeing the terminology or the term or the word copper. Now, I find it interesting because when you look up Webster Dictionary 1828, which I have pictures of it, and you look up black or Negro or African, and it literally identifies people of Africa. Here it says a native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races found here by the Europeans, right? 1828. So, you know, this is a wobble thing. They love this copper-colored shit. They love it. Can't get enough of it. All right. So I'm trying to get to the point where he references this book here. Okay. Let's see if he references it here. Okay. I think it's here. Now, he's still considering copper color. Okay, fine. Copper color. Okay. So now he goes into, again, Negroes with feathers and headdresses and kilts. We know several people have debunked these pictures, but, you know, where's my point? I think this one here. This one here. I'll let him, I don't want him to talk too much because he's just going to keep saying Negroid and this. Well, matter of fact, let's do it. Let's listen in.
The history of signboards. It says blackamoors and other dark-skinned foreigners have always possessed considerable.
Remember, he said blackamoors, right? And then he said copper color, right? Okay, I'm just trying to get to one point. Let's go.
Attractions as signs for tobacconists and sometimes also for public houses. Negroes with feathered headdresses and kilts, smoking pipes are to be seen outside tobacco shops on the continent as well as in England. Physical type inhabited the Virgin Islands in pre-Columbian times, all right? They found these bones there, right? They're trying to say the ones in Now
he's saying that because they found bones in 1938. So we understand now what was going on back then in regards to all of these questions. Now, back then, yeah, they were written, but now is when it matters, okay? Now is when it matters, but let's continue.
Ogi mounds, they lost them because they're going to match those bones. And then we got, you know, walls of the Maya and vases again, so you guys can see. Like the article said, all kinds of features here, just like in Africa. All right, as you can see, Bonaparte, Chiapas.
Yeah, the idiot don't pay attention to the face, to the hands. You know, it's just, anyways, it doesn't matter. Let's go.
More vases over here. This is on their walls, ancient Americana.
Right here. Right what I'm talking about right here. Right here.
A ver, que alguien me explique.
So, I have a question to these people here. Because I do have this book here, okay? So, it's this one. Okay. And he's talking about the peculiarity. The peculiarity. Let me see if I can get the book. Where are you at? In inquiry. Let's see my highlighted parts. Okay, so here he's talking about the peculiarities, all right? What these brothers look like. Let me see if I can get to that page. Give me a second. because this is an interesting book, and it really separates a lot of people. So on page 5 in this book, okay, he's going to talk about this right here, and we're going to read it so then we can understand what it means. Because apparently Ebonics, I don't know. I really don't know. Let's go. Listen to this.
Physical characteristics. It says all possess alike the long, lank black hair, the brown or cinnamon color skin, the brown or cinnamon color skin, out of Crania Americana. Physical characteristics. It says all possess alike the long, lank black hair, the brown or cinnamon color skin, the brown or cinnamon color skin. On the other page, it says these facts, however, are mere exceptions to a general rule and do not alter the peculiar physiognomy of the Indian. What is that? Which is as undeviatingly characteristic as that of the Negro. All right, just like the Negro, the physiognomy of the Indian. For whether we see him in the athletic Carib or the stunted Chima, in the dark Californian, all right, we got 3 videos, right? The dark Californian, look at the correlation. The dark Californian or the fair Boroa, he is an Indian still. Doesn't matter how you're saying, he's still an Indian and cannot be mistaken for being of any other race. They're not African, they're still Indians.
Okay, so little stupid ass, bro. I found a video and I know where you're low. Well, I'm not going to say that shit, but I will catch you, motherfucker. I will fucking catch you. And I'm going to embarrass the shit out of you. Because, you're what do you call those things? Useful idiot, I guess. And all of you guys that are believing this shit, y'all are stupid too. You're gonna get burned like him. Because again, I don't know if you guys believe in a creator or not, but you better. And what you guys have done is quite frankly an embarrassment to your people, to your nation, to your heritage, bro. Y'all are just a fucking joke. So this is from first of all, I went to this book because this book that he's talking about is written by this gentleman here, right? Samuel George Morton. Now you're asking, well, why are you bringing up this one? Because this one was also Samuel George Morton. Same book. Okay. I'll go back. So, Culomiado, explain this to me, little man, Mr. Little Man. Because you're referencing a person that says one particular thing, right? Samuel George Morton. Now I'm going to bring up this book first, and then I'm going to bring this book up after. So let me just kind of bring it up here. Now, why am I doing this? Because first of all, 2 things I want to tackle. The same writer, okay? The same writer. And he uses this writer, Samuel George Morton. Now, we've seen in his all videos of every fucking wobble that I've listened to, all you dumbasses. Yeah, I'm going to call y'all out, bro, for real. I don't care. And look, there's only, what, 2 people watching? And it's perfect because at least I get to kind of get to just be me for a second. Because you want to know something? This is total bullshit. You guys keep saying copper color, look, copper color, bro, fucking copper color, bro. That's why we're black. That's why, like, we know we look Africans, but, not really, because it says copper color, bro. The world is ready. Okay. Let's see. Okay. In the book that he wrote in 1839. Okay. He's quoting this guy at that time. I'm going slow so you guys can follow, because apparently you guys are really slow. You know who I'm talking about. We're going to go to page 67. And I need you to follow along with me and slowly process this information. Make sure that it doesn't bother y'all so much, okay? Let me see if I can bother here real quick. Where is the page? Give me me a second here. Give me a second. Is this the one, man? Don't tell me I lost it already. Shit. I have a page where Miss Susan. Yeah, I have it here. It's right here, isn't it? Oh, here it goes. Page 68. I need you guys to pay attention to this. Just like the term Negro, all of that shit. And here it's telling us that for some reason, look, a copper colored skin has been assumed by most writers as a characteristic distinction of the Americans, who have hence been called the copper-colored race. The investigations of Dr. McCullough satisfactorily prove that this designation is wholly incapable to the Americans as a race, and that it is more characteristic of some other and very remote nations. This is Morton saying here what you wobbles always love to lean on. He's saying you can't apply it to natives necessarily. So then what now? And I know that this is going to go over that. No, it doesn't matter. The error has obviously arisen from the habitual use among many tribes of red paint to a brown skin, which occasions as copper hue. Humboldt declares that the denomination of copper-colored men could never have originated in the equinoctial regions to designate the Americans. You guys listening to this? Or are you guys not listening to this? To be quite frank with you, I'm surprised man, I only see one person watching. This is weird, to be quite frank with you. But it don't matter. You guys can catch it later. Then it says here, Humboldt declares that the denomination of the copper-colored men could never have originated in the equinoctial regions to designate the Americans, the natives. And I can further testify that among the individuals of many tribes that have come under my observation, I have never seen a copper-colored man. One second. Get the hell out of here with that, bro.
Fuck that puto. Fuck that puto.
You know what's so funny, man? You know what's so funny? Oh, shit. Yeah. You know what's so funny, family? Hold on a second here. Hold on. I think I know what's going on. Here, give me a second. I'll be right back. So you guys ain't watching anyways. So yeah, I know that's painful, and I mean, what else do you want me to tell you here? Let's read it again, because apparently, inquiring minds ought to know. Inquiring minds ought to know here. This right here isn't in. Matter of fact, let me see if I can do it in red. Yeah. So check this out again. This goes to all you wabos. Every single one of y'all. I know there's only one person watching it. I don't care. It's just funny to me, bro. It's just funny to me how. I mean, look. This is the same dude he used right here, bro. He quoted this guy. Okay. So before I move into the easy breakdown here, what he's talking about, because he's stupid, he don't know how to read. I want to get to the nitty gritty. Take a picture of that. Enjoy it. Chew on that shit for a moment. Look at this. Here, let me get out of the way. A copper-colored skin has been assumed by most writers as a characteristic distinction of the Americans, meaning our gente. Not blackity blacks with afro, West Africans who want to steal our heritage, not you. This is us. Why? Who have been hence called the copper-colored race. Now, this is while you go about wobbles, you guys want to use this terminology, you want to use it. Guess what this man says? You Colombianos is your king. He's your God. You guys got all this from him. Okay? He's part of the culprit. He's the ones of the section. So it says, a copper-colored skin has been assumed by most writers as a characteristic distinction of the Americans, who has hence been called the copper-colored race. The investigation of Dr. McCullough satisfactorily proves that this designation is wholly incapable to the Americans as a race, and that it is more characteristic of some other and very remote nation.
Fuck that puto.
What are you talking about, man? So here we're seeing that copper-colored was not a terminology applied to the natives here. So let's continue, because apparently this is not enough. The error was obviously arisen from the habitual use among many tribes of red paint and a brown skin, which occasions a copper hue. So this is because of paint and skin tone. You understand that now? Do you understand that? But that's not still the concept of copper color. Did it ever apply to the native? And should it apply now to the native? Okay? Humboldt declares that the denomination of copper-colored men could never, I repeat, never have originated in the equinoctial regions to designate the Americans. So it could never apply to the Americans. Why? And I can further testify. Here's his why. That among the individuals of many tribes that have come under my observation, I have never, once again, regarding the natives of this land, this is in 1838. This is the same writer. He's referencing different book. We're going to touch on this book. I'm not running. But this man is saying that I have never seen a copper-colored man here in America. He can testify, and among many individual tribes that he observed, he's never seen a copper-colored man, meaning other than with paint and brown skin, yes, but a natural like that, he said, no. So now he goes here and reads this article, and I remember the other dude. What's his name? This dude here, this guy here, this dude here. So I remember seeing him read something to some Hispanic dude. I don't know, and I don't know what happened. I really didn't. It was a long time ago, and he read the same paragraph, the same page, and I guess Colombianos and them. It's like a practice page or some shit. So they get stupid asses that don't know how to read or understand or break down words. So here is where he goes. Okay, so he uses this word physiogamy, I'm sorry. Okay. And then he also uses this word undividedly. Okay. So now let's look up the word first, so then you can see and understand what you're reading. That's why it's important to read. and study words. Physiognomy is the facial features held to show qualities of mind, blah, blah, blah. It's external aspect. You know, your facial features, right? Your features, basically. And this word here.
Undeviating. Undeviating.
How did he read it? Let's slow down. Because apparently that matters.
It says all possess alike the long, lank, black hair, physical character. Other page, it says these facts, however, are mere exceptions to a general rule and do not alter the peculiar physiognomy of the Indian. What is that? Which is as undeviatingly.
Undeviating.
Does it sound about the same thing, or does it sound about the same thing? I don't think it sounds about the same thing.
Characteristic. What is that? Which is as undeviatingly.
Undeviatingly. First of all, culo miado. You got to learn how to read. And second, you got to learn how to pronounce it right.
Undeviating.
Undeviating. You see, when you read it now, you're like, wait a minute, hold on a second. There's a definition. So that's technically what it means. Undeviatingly, okay? That's what it means. Now, as time goes on, the way that we write words does change. In case y'all don't know, if you read old books and new books, you'll start seeing the progression of words, how they change. Here it says, so now we're getting an idea. The physiognomy of how they look, and undeviantly, showing no deviation, a constant or steady, or consistent, persistent, continuing, constant, continual, right? Right? It says continue and nonstop. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind because we're going to read this. So it says, just to make sure that you guys understand. He's talking about and read it in context. Got to read it in context. He's looking at, he's talking about this. First of all, look at this real quick. So he reads certain things about the physical characteristics, but then he, excludes other things. So he mentions the Indian. Hey, what up, Gurakoyo? What's up, bro? Good to have you here, bro. Good to have you here, man. Appreciate your support. He mentions the climate difference. So let me just read it. It is an adage among travelers that he who has seen one tribe of Indians has seen all. That is important. Do you understand what that means? I need here. As a matter of fact, let's continue. So just remember that. So if you've seen one native, you've seen them all. If you've seen raza one way, you've seen them all. Right? So for example, whether they like light skin, whatever, that's a Hispanic, so-called, so to speak. Right? He says, so much to the individuals of this race resemble each other, notwithstanding their immense geographical distribution, meaning vast land, and those differences of climate, which embrace the extremes of heat and cold, meaning north or south, and half-clad Fuegian, shrinking from its dreary winters, has same characteristic lenient, though in an exaggerated degree, as the Indians of the tropical plains. And these again resemble the tribes which inhabit the region west of the Rocky Mountains, those of the Great Mississippi, and those again which skirt the Eskimos on the north. Watch this. All possess long, lank. What is lank? Straight. Okay. Black hair. The brown or cinnamon colored skin. Now, we're going to touch on the importance of this cinnamon thing. Okay. The heavy brow, the dull and sleepy eye, the full or compressed lips. Now, think about this for a moment, okay? Think about this for a moment. So you're like, full, you see, it says full lips. Well, my wife has full lips. My kids have full lips. I don't. I have what they call compressed lips. Oh, you don't think so? Check this out. Compressed lips means this, family, okay? It means what? Flatten, by pressure, squeeze, press together. So like, let's see my face. Look at my face. See? Compressed lips, thin lips, thin lips. I don't understand what you guys are reading, man. What are you reading? What are you talking about? It says compressed or full lips and the salient but dilated nose. Salient, what does that mean? Noticeable or important, but dilated, meaning become wilder or larger. So it's noticeable but large. Look at my nose. Shit, I got a big nose. I don't got a little nose. What are you guys talking about? So as we're reading this book and we're dissecting and tackling this shit, it's like, bro, this makes no sense. So now that you understand what he's talking about, so he's saying, like these traits, moreover, are equally common to the savage and civilized nations, whether they inhabit the margins of rivers, blah, 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 blah. So that's what he's talking about, okay? He says, I cannot be questioned that the physical diversities do occur equally singular and inexplicable as seen in different shades of color, varying from a fair tint to a complexion almost black. See, complexion black. That didn't say Africans. And this too, under circumstances in which climate can have little or no influence. So, for example, if you live in the north, you can be dark-skinned too. Yeah, it's possible. So also in reference to the stature, differences are remarkable in entire tribe, which, moreover, are geographically proximate to each other. Check this out. These facts, however, are mere exceptions to the rule, general rule, and do not alter the peculiar physiognomy, the way people look, right? The way people look, right? The way they look, the physiognomy or the look of the Indian, which is as, remember this word, consistent, right? Continuous, characteristic as that of the Negro. Now, you're like, oh my God. No, I'll give you one example of what he's talking about, okay? I'll give you why. Here's why, okay? Check this out. Tank Davis, okay? You see Tank Davis? Tank Davis? Nah, he's a good fighter, okay? You see this guy right here? Right? This is Tank Davis, right? Okay, watch this. Captain Tazar. I was going to say Taserface, but look at this right here. You see this right here? And this is the undeviantly, or I should say, let me have the computer say it for us.
Physiognomy.
Oh, not that word, dummy. Shit, the other one. Hold on a second. Oh, that's funny. Not that one, dude. Give me go back. This one. Let me go ahead and read it.
Undeviating.
It's undeviating, right? Meaning what? That no matter what feature you see in him or in him, you see that? The woolly hair is there. The thicker lips are there. Do you understand that? That's what he's talking about. You can tell it's consistent with their nations, whether you're dark skinned or light skinned, right? Whether you're like Denzel Washington type, or whether you're Tazaria type, or whether you're Tank Davis type. That's what it means, that is consistent to your physiognomy. Not that it's that it's because it would say in which is similar. Oh, you know what I'm saying? It's like it wouldn't say consistent characteristic as that of the Negro. Why? For where we see him in the athletic cherub or the stunted. Hold on, let me close this up. A Kaima, in the dark Californian or in the fair Baroa, he is an Indian still. But he didn't say Negro. And cannot be mistaken for being any other race. For example, if you see Captain Tazariak, so they call him, you would say he's a light-skinned Negro. You see Tank Davis, you would say he's a light-skinned Negro. If you say Denzel Washington, he's a so-called Negro. If you say, I don't know, Obama, he would be a so-called Negro, right? The physiognomy don't change. The same conformity of organization is no less obvious in the osteological structure of these people, as seen in the squared or rounded heads, the flattened or vertical occiput, the high cheekbones, the ponderous maxill, the large quadric orbit, the low receding forehead. You see this? He's seeing people. For example, here it says who he's seen. So before I forget the topic, let's continue. Let me speed up.
Characteristic as that of the Negro. All right, just like the Negro, the physiognomy of the Indian, for whether we see him in the athletic.
And we know now that that's not what it means. It means that the peculiar look of the Indian, which is as consistent a characteristic as that of the Negro, meaning what? That the physiognomy, the way you look, is consistent with your race, which is why it says in the bottom, he as an Indian still cannot be mistaken for being in any other race. He's not saying that blacks and Indians look the same, stupid ass. What he's saying is that, we have characteristics. When you see an Indian, you'll know he's an Indian, whether he's light skinned or dark skinned. Let's continue.
Carib, or the stunted chima, in the dark Californian. All right, we got 3 videos, right? The dark Californian, look at the correlation. The dark Californian, or the fair Boroa, he is an Indian still. Doesn't matter how you're saying, he's still an Indian and cannot be mistaken for being of any other race. They're not African, they're still Indians. Even with the physiognomy of a Negro, they're still Indian. The American nations or outlines of their general history, ancient and modern. Okay, this is right. C.S. Rafinsky, but he's actually quoting here sources. Starting here says 49th advantage, black people came to Haiti from the south or southeast, meaning South America, who had darts of guanine metal and were called the Black Guaninis. This tradition, preserved by Herrera, Garcia, and Charlie Vu, indicated colony of Negroes or men painted black from South America. From South America, we're about to see the footage. They might be
To see the footage. I'm just trying to get to the footage. Let's get to the footage. All right. Here he quotes, it's another book. Leo Blanchard. I would say get them, by the way, please, and read them. If you read them, you'll find out. Because I'm about to destroy this stupid ass. Because my interest is the actual video. Because obviously we know that, they're going to snip cuts and snip things and tape them together. I'm not too concerned about that. Because I already just proved one damn thing. You can't apply copper color to natives. Morton, the guy you quoted, contradicts the shit that you're saying. Let's listen to
Black Indians have been seen in Brazil, Guyana, Caracas, Popayan, Choco, North California. Some of them, such as the Auroras or Caroras of Cumana, were black, but with fine features and long hair, like the Yolovs and Galas of Africa, just like the ones in Africa.
Okay, all right, so let's play it now, because I want to get to the point, all right? So here's where we found the video, the original, and here's what he says supposedly happened. But I'm going to show you how he gets debunked. All right, but let's continue. Let's go.
Rules of French Guiana, Mr. Herman Jessen, the Amazon trader, makes his way up the Moroni River, aided by friendly natives. His object? To trade small manufactured goods with the primitive Indians along its banks. For theirs.
So here he goes, primitive Indians, not African runaways. All right, you see what I'm saying? Now, this is how he's starting to isolate the stupid little mind, the confabulated mind of Western Africa.
Spears, baskets, and primitive artifacts. His expedition must cut its way through the dense jungle overgrowth, and often has to eat only what nature provides. And now, here's the man you saw in the film earlier, Mr. Herman Jessen. Proud to have you with us, Mr. Jessen.
Thank you, John.
I'd like to ask, first of all, sir, how remote are these Indians from civilization?
These Indians live about 250 miles up the Moroni River. It's very hard to get up there because the rains endanger any trip, and the river is either too low or too high. It's just in July that one can penetrate into those villages.
Oh, is this your first trip into this area?
No, into this area is my second trip, but I've made 25 trips into South America so far, and I expect to leave very shortly on another one.
Well, where are you from originally?
I was born in Europe, but now I am engaged in the import-export business, and I spend about half of my time down in the Amazon jungles and the other half of my time here in Los Angeles.
We're here in Hollywood at the LA Film School campus. Let me show you our pro spaces where our students work.
Well, we're all anxious to see what being an Amazon trader really means, so let's start now.
We start in the town of Saint-Laurent-du-Maroni in French Guiana on the Moroni River.
In French Guiana on the Moroni River. Keep in mind now, follow along, and then I'm going to interject with a video that I got. Let's go.
River divides Dutch Guiana from French Guiana, and the native quarters house these beautiful canoes in which the natives use. Two of the men who made this.
Here he's saying natives, and he's referencing, you hear the word native. The mind looks at them, and they assume, oh, they're dark copper color? It's been engraved in their subconscious. So now you confabulated stupid asses. Now you're filling in the gaps of this vague so-called memory that they've been creating in your disorder. Let's go.
Trip with me, my companions, on a long journey trading with the natives of this region. The things that I use for trading with these people are mirrors, fish hooks, beads, flashlights, also tobacco and salt and sugar that the natives can use. I'm trading a knife for a comb and a basket for beads.
Says he's trading with the native certain material, okay? So keep that in mind as well.
Our boat was 50 foot long and 4 feet wide, and there were 4 of us going on this long trip up the Moroni River. We are leaving the town and passing by the native quarters, and we are on our way to Mukumak Mountains and trading with the natives of the region.
How long a river trip will this be, Mr. Jessen?
It's about 2 months trip, John.
And how long will it be in terms of miles?
It's about 500 miles each way. We're getting our guns ready as we are living off the land. You'll see that later. This little boy is one of the sons of the Bushmen, and I gave him a piece of chewing gum, and that's what he did with it. He couldn't figure it out. Pull our way into this phony.
You see that right there? Something happened. Something happened right there. Check this out.
Bushman village. Did it. He couldn't figure it out. Pull our way into this native phony Bushman village.
In this video. So now I'm going to interject with my video. Let me see where you're at. Oh, that's right. I got to do it this way because I tried to download it and I tried to, well, you'll see why it's a problem. You'll see why. Give me a second. Momento, por favor. Momento. Okay. So this is the same video. All right. And I'm going to play it up until where the boy and what he said after the boy. Okay. So check this out. Here we go.
Of the Bushman, and I gave him a piece of chewing gum, and that's what he did with it. He couldn't figure it out. To pull our way into this native phony Bushman village. This is the harbor, and here are
all right, hold on.
some of the typical canoes with African design. Fierce rapids now. We are getting ready for the Indian villages, which are further up. And here are the first Indians which we met. We are getting ready for the Indian villages, which are further up. And here are the first Indians which we met. And here are the first Indians which we met. The Oyana Indians are the Indians who live further up the river, and they have long hair, men and women alike, and we are trying to see whether we can get permission to get up further into that country and have. I love to do as they do, and I think the best way to go into these native places is to dress just the way they do, and they feel very much at home when you approach them in that respect. We are now starting to trade with the natives. Lipo is the Indian boy who guided us all the way across these mountains and up the river, across the two Mukumak Mountains and back to the Indian villages. He was a fine boy, about 16 years old, and very nice and very trustworthy. We needed this Indian boy to go along with us to help, inasmuch as he was the only one that had ever been up that stream. The native way of drinking.
That's the native way of drinking. He's not a native, but let's continue.
I paid these Bushmen in French money, and the Indian boy I paid in beads.
That Colomiado takes that out. He takes that piece out. Let's continue.
Go along with us to help, inasmuch as he was the only one that had ever been up that stream. The native way of drinking. I paid these Bushmen in French money, and the Indian boy I paid in beads. I paid these Bushmen in French money, and the Indian boy I paid in beads at the end of the trip. It's only to presenting me to the chief, Grand Montifu, who is a very gentle chief, governing these bush people totally. For this empty oil can. African culture prevails completely in every respect. And of course, dancing and making friends came first. It's kind of a combination of cha-cha-cha and merengue. You hear these rattles now. It's just like Africa, John. The
He takes that out. Remember that.
language and their customs and their music is all imported from Africa, and they're pure Africans. They're very proud of their racial background. The children have full command of this African rhythm. The most interesting Indian villages in which I ever visited. John, the town of...
He calls them Africans. He calls these people here Indians. Let's go.
of Aloike is the largest and the most colorful of the Indian villages up this river, and you see the French flag flying. The house is airy and comfortable, and the women...
So now let's listen to the video, okay? Listen closely. Let's go. Remember what was said, what was emphasized, and what he leaves out. Let's continue.
This is the harbor, and here are some of the typical canoes to presenting me to the chief Cormontifu, who is a very gentle chief, governing these bush people totally. And he really dressed up the next day in my honor in this French naval officer's uniform with his wife, and I undressed in his honor in the native garb of the region.
Very incongruous, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. This boy is making an oar for me, which I traded with him for a knife. And a girl is winnowing rice. In another part of the village, we see one of the girls fixing the hair of a lady chief of the village. This is another little baby of...
Now, what was Colombiado reading in the 1830s books? People of dark complexion with long hair. Straight, long hair, straight long hair. I do not see straight long hair here. And you see, you didn't mix though. Let's continue.
Of tutu. And the paddle I'm trading here with these bushmen. One of the native girls brought us some fruits, and we are trading it for this empty oil can. Shoving off on our way now to the next bony village of Assisi. And you see the way these boys are built with their shoulders and muscles, that they really are good for this type of work.
They're very stocky people, Mr. Jessen.
Oh yes, they're very healthy, and they're really children of nature. The language is taki-taki. It's a language of about 300 words. I learned to respect these people. I never lost anything. On the whole trip, everything was kept in order. And as I came to these villages, they all brought me gifts and eggs and rice, and I was really treated royally going up there. The town of Assisi, the second Oni village. Here's a bakery. You see, these people are very primitive, but still in all, they have high moral quality. They don't know hate, they don't know jealousy and envy. These people were very much interested in trading with me, and of course, dancing and making friends came first. It's kind of a combination of cha-cha-cha and merengue. You hear these rattles now. The little ones get into the act, and this one to the right is the son of the chief.
You're going to have to get used to
and merengue. You hear these rattles now. The little ones get into the act, and this one to the right is the son of the chief. We leave this little town of... Very gentle chief, governing these bush people. Very gentle chief, bushman in Frenchman, culture, cha-cha-cha and merengue. You hear these rattles now. It's just like Africa, John. Their language and their customs and their music, all imported from Africa, and they're pure Africans. They're very proud of their racial background. The children have full command of this African rhythm. The most interesting Indian villages in which I ever visited. Children have imported from Africa, and they're making African culture prevails completely in every respect. And of course, dancing and making friends came first. It's kind of a combination of cha-cha-cha and merengue. You hear these rattles now. It's just like Africa, John. Their language and their customs and their music is all imported from Africa, and they're pure Africans. They're very proud of their racial background. The children have full command of this African rhythm. The most interesting Indian villages in friends came first. It's kind of a combination of cha-cha-cha and merengue. You hear these rattles now. The little ones get into the act, and this one to the right is the son of the chief. We leave this.
Hey, it's funny because I'm not even muted, bro. That just system just muted me and shit. So thank you. Where did we leave off? Where was no volume? The video or me? Was I no volume? Okay. So I'm going to read what he answered. So inquiring minds want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. So this guy says to him, I watched the original video and he said African heritage and African designs on their boats. I see you edited a bit or didn't. I've seen both videos, and yes, he still calls them natives and Indians alike with other tribes with long hair. This history thing is so draining, but fulfilling when the veils are lifted. So what does Culo Miado say? Yeah, okay. I was muted. Okay, I don't know why, bro. I don't know why. And honestly, that's just an automatic shit. And who knows? You know what I mean? But this is what he says. He says, culo miados, bro. Hold on a second. The God of, because they love his ass. I'm gonna show you something. It says, because he was given his out of Africa theories in those parts, eh? He don't know. He's just repeating what he heard in elementary school. So you edit it out, culo miado? Is that why? So you edit it out, the Africa part, because since he was fed elementary education, you, on the other hand, did not. So you figured, well, I got the right to edit. And it says, he don't know. He's just repeating what he heard in elementary school. And his only proof is their dark skin. Being a negro does not automatically mean Africa. You got a lot to learn, Holmes. And these people are not Africans. I don't know what else he said. So that's his answer. So he skips all of that shit. He starts letting this all play at this point, to be quite frank with you. So he lets it play, but that big chunk right here. So he gets a...
Do you need to learn about AI if you...
All right, so now, let's get to the nitty gritty. Okay. In case you guys don't know. We read in the Crania Morton on page 67, right? Wait, is it this one? 60. Oh, sorry. Let me close it so I don't get confused. Right here. We read right here that, that copper color does not consist to or need to be considered towards natives. Humboldt declares that the denomination of the copper color man could never have originated in the equinoctial regions to designate the Americans, us. And I can further testify that among the individuals of many tribes that have come under my observation, I have never seen a copper color man. It's just CHIWIWIISM. We consider therefore that the color of the American Indian in general is brown, differing in intensity with various tribes according to various localities, but that it is almost impossible to say that the brown color principally resembles, the sentiment is, in my apprehension, the nearest approach to it, though still too inaccurate for general comparisons. I fully coincide in opinion with Dr. McCullough and believe with him that no epithet derivable from the color of the skin so correctly designates the Americans collectively as that of the brown race. So although the Americans thus possess a pervading and characteristic complexion, there's also occasional and very remarkable deviations, including all the tint from a decided white to an equivocally black skin. But this fact may be sufficiently illustrated by the following examples. Among the fair tribes of the upper Orinoco, Humboldt made special mention of the Guajaribos, the Guaneres, the Guayacas, and the Miquiratis. The individuals of fair tribes whom we examine have the features, the stature, and the smooth, straight, black hair. Smooth, straight. It would be impossible to make them a mixed race. Oh, God. Oh, that's gotta hurt. Like the descendants of natives or Europeans. And they are neither feeble or Albanese, or albino, so they say, sorry. We keep reading along. Look, Bartram saw among the Cherokee some women whom he described as fair as blooming. Among the nations of the islands of St. Catherine, on the coast of California, on this side, young persons of both sex having fine features, having fine mixture of red and white in their complexion. You see this? And once again, by fair complexion, almost black. There's degrees. We understand that. We don't have a problem with this at all. But you guys do. Let's tackle this book now. Okay, so this is from the sketches of the history of. Here, let me get to it. The sketches, we'll get to this quick. The sketches of the history of the manner and customs of the North American Indian. What year? I believe, let's look it up. 1824. Okay? If you guys can help me confirm it, but I believe it's correct. 1824. So what do we got here in this book written in 1824? The sketches, let me get it real quick. It's just a couple pages. No big deal. No big deal. We'll start up with, let's see this right here. Let me get to the point. Preface. This is regarding, and by the way, James Adair also identified us. The conditions of the red Indian. Red, not black, not Negro, none of that. So start washing that confusion away. It's okay. It's not a big deal. When you got idiots confusing you, I can see the confusion. Saying you. Hold on a second. Page 32. Here it goes right here. Page 32. Right? It says here on the bottom. My thus becoming acquainted with this young lady and her brother fully establishes in my mind all I was anxious to prove by the education of the young Indian. That many such instances might be adduced, which would evidence that wisdom, science, and exaltation of character are not the exclusive property of any color, tribe, or nation. The bravery, political sagacity, and the knowledge of governments manifested by Negroes who now govern Santo Domingo, not to mention all other well-known instances. So we see here that are calculated to allay the doubt which used to prevail as the capacity of the African. But between the Indian of North America, see, you're already here. You're being identified right there. What is the difference between this person that looks like you and supposedly these people that look like you? And the African, there's a remarkable difference. The former can never be bowed to become the slave of man, to pay tribute, to submit by any hope of reward or a live or vassalage. Is this what I'm looking for? Hold on. Is this one? Hold on. Oh, okay. Let me see if I can. Hold on. Let me see if I can skip this page because this is actually at the end. I wanted to show you guys at the end. Yeah, this is page 35. Oh, I'm sorry. That's why I went to it. My bad. Well, we can always come back to it later. Check this out. We're going to go to page 322. We're talking about the way people look. This is 1824, right? 1824. Let's not lose the thought. My bad, family. Got a lot of material, man. Sometimes, I have to bring out the files and where I store them mentally. Excuse me. All right. 322, any day. Okay, here he goes. So on page 322, it says here, natives of Pennsylvania. So we're talking about the way people look a certain way, right? The natives I shall consider in their persons, language, manners, religion, and government, with my sense of their original. For their persons, they are generally tall, straight, well-built, and of singular proportion. They thread strong and clever, and mostly walk with a lofty chin. It says, of complexion black, but by design. Because we would use bear grease and obviously paint. But by design, check this out. As the gypsies in England, they greased themselves with bear fat classified and using no defense against the sun or weather, their skin must needs be swarthy. Because we don't cover ourselves. Remember, it was not like today. We got buildings and you can just be home and don't get suntan. You got to be out there and work. Right? Their eyes is little and black, unlike a straight look Jew. The thick lip and flat nose, so frequent to the East Indian and blacks. Hold on a second here. Chiwiwi. I got a question. What's going on here, Chiwiwis? The thick lip and flat nose, so frequent in the East Indian and blacks, are not the father. I'm kidding. Are not common to them, Chiwiwis. Get out of here with your shit, man. For real. So check this out. It says here, for I have seen as comely European-like faces among both sexes, as on your side the sea. And truly, an Italian complexion had not much more of the white, and the noses of several of the men have as much of the Roman. Holy Jesus again. So explain this to me, Wabos. Are you telling me that y'all look like Romans and Europeans too and shit? So who are these East Indians and who are these black ones here? How do you identify black, East Indian, or so-called you? How do we know that? How do we get that? How do we even understand that? Help me understand. You guys keep saying that copper color applies to the people here in America, but here we see the same Martin Norton, who your God, Culo Miado, uses, said that term, copper color, does not apply to us. And he can absolutely confirm it. So hey, that's crazy, man. It keeps muting me, bro. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Damn. Fucking animals, dude. Thank you. Okay. So you guys saw the book. This is from Bartolomé de las Casas. I showed you guys this book the other day. It's rewritten in 1875, but originally in Spanish. He was here, originally here in 1505. He says, era esta gente de mediana estatura, bien proporcionados, average stature, well proportioned. Las caras no muy hermosas por tenerlas anchas. The face is not so beautiful because they were wide. El color o la color de la carne tira a rubia, meaning, and the skin tone or their skin it's like a tint of ruddy or leaning to ruddy, right? Like los pelos de león, like the fur or the hairs of a lion. De manera, so that right there caught my attention. That right there caught my attention. Because if you understand, check this out. Where are you at? Here we see from a book I have, and I think it's called Identifying Indios. I can't 100% confirm it, but I have this book. Watch what Amerigo Vespucci says. Now I understand what he meant. If Rodrigo Bastida saw the Indios he enslaved as Loro or Negro in 1497 because the contact determined that was how he should see them, Amerigo Vespucci identified the indigenous people of Paria, Venezuela, as having a reddish cast to their flesh like that of lions. With flattened faces similar to those of Tartars. Now, was he there with Bartolomé de las Casas? So I wonder if he was. Well, he said the same shit. But I find it interesting how now all of a sudden you want to connect him there. So anyways, because in his youth in Florence, he had seen Tartars hunched over with their task. So now you're thinking, what is this here? What's going on? Because if you keep reading, saw Indios, they are black. They're as black, which might be why in 1507, Melingia, We can get onto that another time. But look how he says lions, right? Check this out. A brother had posted this, and here's what the point is, family. We're almost done. You see this sister of ours? Look at her.
Well, that makes me a villain.
Look at that. Look at her forearm. Look at that right there. So if you see somebody like that apparently sees you, right? It says, reddish cast to their flesh like that of lions. Lions. Fur. Look at that. You see that color? See that color? Orangey type of way, right? You see her arm? See the color? See her arm? See the color? See her arm? See the color? See the arm? That's why.
Then so fucking weird. Well, that makes me a
That's why they were talking about. You couldn't pinpoint that. Man, that's kind of a skin tone I've never seen before. I don't know what color to say. It's kind of like the lion's fur. Hello. These are facts, and you can't take these books away because they're actually what they say. We're not lying. We're not making, like, you know what I'm saying. We're not making stuff up here. It's very clear. Wait, hold on. Where's it at? It's very clear what he was talking about. Now we know. It's like, man, this distinctive color. I couldn't really pinpoint. Like Morton said, I couldn't really pinpoint the color. Let me see what I got. So now check this out. I'm going to debunk this real quick. I got a few minutes. So a lot of people use, especially colombianos, they talk about esmeraldas, right? They talk about the esmeraldas. Oh my God, those are people esmeralda. Let's debunk this shit. I'm going to tell you exactly who these guys are and how they got into their position of power. Okay? So let me speed it up to 125. Let's listen in. We're just going to be a few minutes and I'm going to show you a book.
Primera la católica, y luchó contra aquellos que querían la secesión de España. Y mucho más emocionantes serían las aventuras de los conquistadores negros, porque la conquista de América no fue solo una alianza de españoles blancos e indígenas. Entre esos españoles blancos también los había negros, además de mujeres e incluso niños. Estos negros solían participar en las conquistas para ganar un buen dinero para comprar su libertad. En no pocos casos lograban mucho más que eso, pues a los conquistadores se les compensaba con tierras, las famosas encomiendas, y algunos de los dueños de estas encomiendas eran estos conquistadores negros. Los nombres más importantes de los que se tiene constancia son Juan Valiente, Juan Garrido, Juan García, Juan Bardales, Sebastián Toral, Antonio Pérez, Miguel Ruiz o Gómez de León, y siendo algunos negros y mulatos terratenientes, se dio la paradoja de que estos también poseyeron a su vez esclavos negros. En el ámbito académico también hay historias que contar, nada más y nada menos que el primer catedrático negro de Europa obtuvo su cátedra en la España del siglo XVI. Hablamos de Juan de Sesa, que empezó su vida como esclavo y terminó de catedrático de gramática en la Universidad de Granada. Se le llamó Juan Latino por su extraordinario dominio del latín.
En el interior del templo nos habla precisamente de cómo las mujeres africanas tenían acceso a una serie de espacios que inicialmente pensábamos eran exclusivos para los europeos. Muy probablemente gran parte de esta población africana no era esclava, era población libre, que participaba en estas actividades, incluyendo las comerciales en la ciudad de Panamá.
También las rebeliones de esclavos se sucedieron en varios puntos del Imperio Español, en algunos casos dando como resultado emplazamientos autogestionados por ellos. Una de esas rebeliones fue la que protagonizaron los ascendientes de los llamados mulatos de Esmeraldas. Esmeraldas es una región que hoy se encuentra en el actual Ecuador. Estos mulatos eran descendientes de esclavos que, tras rebelarse, se convirtieron en caciques de territorios indígenas, razón por la cual llevan esos adornos dorados en la cara típicos de la gente del lugar. La obra fue pintada a finales del siglo XVI, en la visita que estos mulatos hicieron a Quito, donde fueron agasajados con multitud de regalos por parte de las autoridades españolas. Finalmente, rindieron vasallaje ante el rey Felipe III y sus cacicazgos fueron aceptados por este. Por esa
So now we see the Esmeraldas, a lot of these wobbles love to bring it up. Okay, and this is extremely important family to consider. These guys want to quote people that write books like Morton. We're still here on one of these Morton books, The Crania. Remember, I brought that up before because he quotes this man right here. And so I'm the type of person that if I read a book about somebody and they write about us, I'm going to go into some of his other books and see what else he writes about us. So this is he again. Skulls of Various Aboriginal Nations. 1839. Okay. Isn't this what they like to use and wobbles love to run to this? Okay. All right. So I don't know why. Well, I guess it's considered. No, not considered. It is confabulation because it's all selective at the same time. Well, no, I don't know. I don't even want to say selective. Anyway, let me get to my point. All right, check this out. So who were these? Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. On page 86, it tells us pretty much a little information on these individuals from considered Esmeralda. So let's dive in, shall we? It says, the most remarkable mixture of the Indian and Negro races is perhaps that described by Mr. Stevenson as seen by him in the Republic of Colombia. Okay? We just saw the video here. He's talking about these guys. Okay? And he says, the natives of Esmeralda, Rio Verde, and Atacama, says he, are all Zambos. But Wobbles, you guys say that they're Native Americans. He, who you reference often, just slapped your doctrine in the face. Yalazambos. Check this out. Apparently a mixture of Negroes and Indians. Indeed, the oral tradition of their origin is that a ship having Negroes on board arrived on the coast and having murdered.
Fuck that puto. Fuck that puto.
Murdered, okay? A great number of the male Indians. The male Indians, okay? Kept their widows because y'all killed our gente. That's exactly what you did. And daughters, till this very day. And laid the foundations of the present race. So that's why you see the mixture of Indian and Negro, or in other books, all the Esmeraldas, and they got together with the natives. No, you motherfuckers killed our gente, especially the men, and you fucking enslaved and raped the women. That is your origin. Don't run from it now. This is your king, Ak. This is your king right here. This right here. Where are you at? Hurry up, man. Show up. This is your king. This little man right here. This is the culprits of CHIWIWIISM, aka wobbles. I'm making fun of y'all. Thank you, VTC. Thank y'all, we real, for the idea. Because those are facts. So it says here, indeed, the oral traditions of the origin is that a ship having Negroes on board arrived on the coast and having great murdered. Make sure that sinks in. Stop playing games, man. You know, and this is what I don't like about our people, man. And this is for real. You guys are well quick to call out certain nations, but you ain't quick to call out these motherfuckers right here. Why? These are facts. If you look at and peel the veil, you see the abuse that they're projecting. They're projecting what they don't want us to see. It says here, indeed, the oral traditions of the origin is that a ship, okay, we know that already, right? So it says here that after they killed a great number of our gente, y'all kept the women, the moms, and the daughters, and laid the foundation. Pun intended? Is that pun intended? Laid the foundation. He describes these Esmeraldas as tall and rather slender, of a lightest black color. Listen to this. We just saw this the other day. See, this guy's projecting. I kid you not. This guy's projecting. Look, this is what they look like. Tall, rather slender, of a lightest black color, different from that called copper color. Oof, man. Gotcha, bitch. Watch this. Have soft, curly hair, large eyes, flat nose, rather flat, thick lips, and possessing more of the Negro than the Indian. So now I'm like, to have this is amazing. This is amazing right here, family, because we just saw this the other day. We just saw this the other day. I'm not gonna play the video because you guys can always watch it there. But I want to show you who this is. Look at this. Look at this. Hold on. Where you at, dude? Oh no, that's not it. That's not it, bro. Where you at? Let me see. Give me a second. Oh no, this is not it. This is what I'm actually monitoring. No, it says pendejo. Wait. Okay. Check this out. Check this out. When I read that, I'm thinking, wait a minute. Didn't we just identify that motherfucker the other day? Again, it's up to you to believe it or not. We did. We identified this guy. Again, it says that they are described tall, slender, lightish black color, not copper, curly soft hair, large eyes, flat nose, thick lips, passing more of a Negro, right? Well, what's that guy look like? Isn't he light skin, curly hair, flat nose, big lips, passing more of a Negro? Sounds about right to me. Oh, I'm giving you the wrong one. Oh, that's right. It was recorded. I confused myself. So as you can see, family, that's kind of like an Esmeraldan. That's what he says they look like. Right? That's what he says they look like. These guys. Right here. Then it says, Dr. McCulloch does not admit the asserted Negro origin of these people, but it is so much resembles that of the Black Caribs of St. Vincent as to leave little doubt on the subject. Mr. T.R. Peely, who was sometime among the Esmeraldenos, has assured me that so far as his personal observation goes, they are of a decided mixture of a Negro and Indian blood. But we know that you are of your father. You are of your father. You are of your father. I mean, what you want me to tell you, bro? Now, here's another point. Because a lot of
Acceso significa una habitación extra para la abuela.
Acceso significa
on top of the fact that they were conquistadors, watch this.
De viejo cuño o de nuevo cuño, que finalmente tienen tierras, tienen bienes, por ejemplo los caciques de Huejotzingo, sobre todo de Cholula, hay cuadros, que tienen bibliotecas, que tienen claves.
Desde el siglo XVI tratan de vincularse.
Alcaldes mayores.
Estaba pensando cuando hablabas de las indígenas caciques. Es curioso porque los criollos desde el siglo XVI tratan de vincularse a la casa de Moctezuma. Sí.
You see that? They were attaching themselves to the house of Moctezuma. But let's continue.
Y expresamente Isabel Moctezuma, ¿no? la madre, digamos, la madre de toda la descendencia criolla, que siente su vínculo con Moctezuma a través de ella, ¿no? Aunque muchos de ellos no tenían nada que ver con
through the mother or the woman, they try to attach the lineage. Let's continue.
La Tecuixpo, ¿no? Con doña Isabel. Pero es interesante cómo incluso a través de la mujer se están vinculando a un pasado, ¿no? Un pasado glorioso que para los criollos es el pasado prehispánico, ¿no?
Un cacique de Huejotzingo por los años 1500 y tantos, que vestía a lo español y él tenía un paje
So little examples of hold on a second. What was I doing here? Little examples, family. Oh, okay, cool. I don't need you. These are just examples. Check this out. Just little stuff I want to show you, and then we'll call it a day. This is from a book that I have, and I've shared it with y'all before. Come on, bro. It tells us something very interesting. Two things here. However, it is safe to assume that there were other Negroes in that expedition, as there is an abundant evidence of there being with later Spanish explorers as the Aviles, Hernán de Soto, Narváez, Adi de Ayllón, Coronado, Tristan de Luna, and Menendez. Those guys are what I would consider Swarthy, but they're already a mixture. But check this out. Another important fact, Spaniards of that time, listen to this. Wabos, you are welcome to come to this channel and have a sincere debate with me. I won't call your names. Another important fact, Spaniards of that time were much more mixed with Negroes. And had been from before the Moorish invasion of 711 AD. That's why when you talk about those Esmeraldans and the mixture they already come with, right, and possibly mixing with us too, or them, Watch this. This is the president of, I believe, Colombia, which the president of Colombia today and AMLO, president of Mexico, was talking about how he was trying to bring Mexico and Colombia all together. Check this. Simón Bolívar reminded the Spanish Americans of his time that they were not pure Europeans to begin with. Spain itself, he said, had ceased to be European by its African blood. The hell out of here with your shit, dude. Its institution and character. This is crazy. This is crazy. In short, the United States was not founded by pure Nordic race. Oh, man. That's beautiful, bro. This is why you guys really want this territory, man. But anyways, hey, listen, I think that's one I'm going to kind of touch on. I had more material, but I'll leave it for later because it's just going to keep going and going, honestly. I'll give you one more. Let's see. The portion, the women are the same. Countenance may matter. Wear no clothing except deer skin. Skins upon their arms. They braid their hair long, which is also hang down upon their breasts on each side. Others wear different ornaments, such as the women of Egypt and Syria. So they're making a lot of references regarding how similar we dress, even though, like, compared to them. But I'll use this another day, to be honest with you, because I do want to show you some videos that I think are important, that I think are very important, okay? So for you guys that think that when you see negro, that you're automatically supposedly an African, that's not true. We have a variety of colors in our families. Here's an example of one. This is the President AMLO. I had to pull this out because pay attention to the skin tone of a particular gentleman, and it's just a variety of us. Now, people may say, oh, you see, back like Wabos see a dark-skinned man, they assume he's a Negro. No, man. Y'all stupid. Let's continue.
Presidente Andrés Manuel López Obrador se ha ganado el cariño y el respeto de toda una nación, ya que es un presidente totalmente humanista y que atiende las necesidades del pueblo.
Este es nuestro fin. Nunca habíamos tenido un presidente como usted, que anduviera a pie, que anduviera empolvado. Mire, aquí están estos viejitos. Es el presidente. Nomás para que mire usted, señor presidente. A eso vengo. ¿Oíste? A eso vengo ahora. A eso vengo. Voy a dar la orden para eso. Para que les ayude.
¿Qué opinas tú? Déjamelo en los comentarios, suscríbete al canal, comparte el video y...
Look at the variety of colors, family. Look at the variety of colors. Look at that. Brown, dark brown, light brown, all kinds of brown. Don't be fooled, man. Let's see if I can get this real quick. Check this out. Do you guys honestly think that they could build a city as beautiful and as awkward as this here? Okay? This city is built like in a steep, but when you're walking up, it feels like you're walking down. And when you're walking down, it feels like you're walking up. Okay? In case you guys don't know, it's an interesting thing. Check it out. Check it. Let's listen. Let's watch it real quick. We're almost done.
Esta brujería. El día de hoy decidí viajar hasta aquí para conocer uno de los lugares más extraños de México y de todo el mundo, el pueblito que está al revés. Cuando llegamos nos dijeron que el lugar nos iba a marear y la verdad es que no creíamos, pero una vez estando adentro del pueblo la sensación es bastante extraña, ya que cuando vas hacia arriba en realidad estás caminando hacia abajo y viceversa, cuando vas hacia abajo vas caminando hacia arriba. Pues chequen amigos, acabamos de llegar aquí al pueblito que está al revés y como vemos está de bajada. Pero les voy a enseñar algo que está bastante curioso. El agua va corriendo hacia arriba. O sea, esto está bastante raro. ya que el agua tendría que venir de allá arriba y tendría que correr hacia la parte de abajo, ¿no?
Are you telling me y'all built that too, Wobbles? The water goes up the mountain, so to speak, not down. And when you're going up, it feels like you're running down. Let's continue. This is why they want your heritage family. You're something special.
Pero es que vean, o sea, por ahí pasa el agua y viene de allá. Y pasa hasta allá arriba. O sea, ¿qué onda? Pues vamos caminando hacia la parte de allá arriba para ir conociendo mejor el pueblito. Vamos a conocer cómo son las casitas. O sea, el pueblo tiene un aspecto bastante bonito. Lo único raro es la sensación. Créanme, amigos, ahorita voy caminando y siento como que me jala. O sea, yo voy caminando hacia arriba, pero siento que me jala. O sea, las sensaciones, todo es visual. Ya que ahorita vamos caminando hacia abajo, pero visualmente vamos hacia arriba. Esa es la magia de este lugar. Chequen, aquí hay una barbería. Barbería El Peloncito. Ahorita me voy a parar ahí para que vean cómo es la inclinación, que se ve bastante extraño. Aparte también quiero que vayamos a conocer juntos cómo son las casitas por dentro. Creo que hay algunas casas que están abiertas para todo el público. Vamos a ver cómo son por dentro, si tienen la misma inclinación, si se siente la misma sensación que aquí afuera o es diferente. Vamos a ver cómo es esto. Bueno, amigos, pues ya nos encontramos aquí en la parte de adentro y esto está bastante extraño. Chequen esta lámpara. Supuestamente está al revés, ¿no? Esta casa está al revés. Pues ahí está el comedor, vean, ahí está el espejo, las sillitas. Miren esto. Ya descubrimos para qué es este cuarto. Es para tomarse una foto. Es como si la casa estuviera al revés y tú estuvieras en el techo. Aquí ahorita estoy grabando al Pío Plus y vean cómo se ve. Esto es totalmente genial. Pues bueno, amigos, vamos a seguir conociendo este lugar. En cuanto sales, la sensación sigue siendo la misma. Sientes ese mareo raro, subes las escaleras y es bastante extraño. En serio, amigos, tienen que compartir esto porque está bastante loco. Vamos para acá a la parte de adentro para conocer cómo son las habitaciones. En cuanto vas entrando, parece un lugar rústico. Es una casita como viejita. Cuando te sientas, no te sientes como esa sensación de estar sentado, sino la sensación de estar acostado. Te levantas, caminas y vean esto. Vean esto, amigos. Esto está bastante extraño. Yo no veo a una familia viviendo en un lugar y caminando así de esta manera.
So he goes up straight. As you can see, like the streets are going this way. He goes up the stairs, and then it's that way now. Yeah. Anyways, let me show you guys this video, and then we'll be done. Because these things do matter to me.
Native American.
People say that you want to take our information and then claim it to be yours, and it's considered erasure. It's because you don't realize the shit that our people went through.
Boarding schools, established in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, were a dark chapter in American history, forever altering the fabric of Native American culture. These institutions were designed to civilize Native American children by forcibly removing them from their families, stripping them of their languages, traditions, and identities. Children were forbidden to speak their native languages, practice their cultural rituals, or maintain their spiritual beliefs. They were often subjected to harsh discipline, neglect, and abuse, both physical and emotional. The goal was Native American assimilation, but the impact was cultural genocide. Generations of Native Americans were disconnected from their heritage, leading to a profound loss of cultural knowledge and identity. The scars of this era run deep, with many Native American communities still grappling with the intergenerational trauma caused by these schools. The legacy of boarding schools is a painful reminder of the systemic efforts to erase Native American culture, and it's a history that remains controversial, often downplayed or ignored in mainstream narratives. Today, the Native American survivors and their descendants are fighting to reclaim their languages, traditions, and cultural pride. But the shadow of boarding schools is long and continues to affect Native communities across the country. The conversation around these schools isn't just about acknowledging the past, it's about seeking justice and healing for the future.
This newspaper headline from 1917 by El Paso Morning Times titled "Order to Bathe Starts New Riot Among Juarez Women" reveals a rather obscure history about the U.S.-Mexican border. In 1917, American health officials in El Paso, Texas, actually mandated the forcible bathing of working-class Mexicans and their belongings in dangerous chemicals. The use of disinfection facilities as well as chemicals like Zyklon B would later be adopted by the Nazis. But that's outside the scope of this study. Here, we'll be focusing on the bath riots, led by Carmelita Torres, a 17-year-old maid from Juarez, who, on the morning of January 28, 1917, when asked by custom officials at the Santa Fe Bridge to get off the trolley, take a bath, and be disinfected with gasoline, refused. Instead, she rallied 30 other female passengers to get off with her, and by noon, their numbers were estimated to be several thousand. The woman blocked all traffic into El Paso and briefly shut down the border in a riot that lasted 2 days. Though Carmelita Torres and 7 other women would be arrested, their opposition to this humiliating process was a direct blow to white supremacy and xenophobic sentiments at the time. What's more, this news article doesn't only bring attention to the courage of these women, it highlights an often forgotten history about the US border, in which a health crisis, namely the typhus epidemic, was used as an attempt to assert control over Latina bodies. So, to understand the bath riots, we have to understand the context of the time in which they were built. Looking at a response to another typhus outbreak in Los Angeles County in 1916 will help us see the connections between public health policies and the development of long-lasting representations of Mexicans as disease carriers. Here, when a Mexican railroad worker came down with typhus at a camp near Palmdale, public health officials immediately took action, implementing education and sanitation campaigns exclusively targeting Mexicans. It was advised that every individual hailing from Mexico should be regarded as potentially pathogenic. Consequently, in 30 railroad camps in California, workers were inspected and deloused using cyanide gas to destroy lice, ticks, and other pests. The California State Board of Health would also create a list of regulations distributed to railroad camps. But the board's new regulations largely ignored the unsanitary living conditions of the camps, and instead focused on improving laborers' personal hygiene. As a result, frustrated with health officials' insistent focus on remedying Mexicans' unclean habits, with little done to improve living conditions within the camps, a group of Mexicans sent a formal letter of complaint to the Mexican consul in Los Angeles. By failing to treat typhus as a threat to the public at large, officials constructed the disease as uniquely Mexican, framing them as transmitters of deadly disease. Visual depictions during this time by the California State Board of Health framing them as transmitters of deadly disease. Visual depictions during this time by the California State Board of Health monthly bulletin were also increasingly influential in constructing the illusion of Mexicans as unclean and ignorant of basic hygiene practices. On the cover of their October issue in 1916, a photograph of Mexican men, women, and children who lived in the railroad camps were displayed with the caption, "The type of people who are bringing typhus and other diseases into California from Mexico." In other words, race, not symptoms, became shorthand for disease carrier. While this is happening in Los Angeles, the typhus epidemic heavily influenced immigration inspection procedures at the US-Mexican border. El Paso's Mayor Tom Lee was a key figure in advocating for the creation of these disinfection centers. In a telegram sent on June 17, 1916, Tom Lee called for the implementation of a quarantine camp on the southern border to protect against the dirty, lousy, destitute Mexicans who will undoubtedly bring typhus. Considering Lee's request as extreme, the public health service officials stationed in El Paso eventually suggested setting up delousing plants instead. By mid-1916, $6,000 were granted for the construction of a disinfection plant at the Santa Fe Bridge that would be ready by January 1917. It's worth mentioning that even before the fumigation plant was ready, Lee had already begun to tackle this epidemic close to home, starting at CHIWIWIISM, the Mexican quarter of a town where lice were found. Occupants were obligated to take vinegar and kerosene baths, shave their heads, and burn their clothing. Even though reports indicated that CHIWIWIISM was not the festering plague spot that it is pictured to be, under Lee's orders, demolition squads destroyed hundreds of Mexican adobe homes, leaving thousands homeless. A public health report published after the disinfection plant's opening outlined in detail the methods of the quarantine. It reveals the explicit class discrimination and racialization along the southern border. It stated that all persons coming to El Paso, Texas from Mexico, considered as likely to be vermin-infested, are sent through this plant for disinfection. But how exactly did officials determine who was likely to have typhus? It is implied that officials targeted those who physically appeared to be of the working class, either by dress or ethnicity. Thus, those with indigenous and mestizo physical markers were forced to endure chemical baths, fumigation, and degrading full-body visual inspections, while Mexicans that were white or well-dressed and of higher social status were not only inspected privately, but were also allowed to skip the delousing baths. In a process that was to be repeated every 8 days, every second-class Juarez citizen was to strip completely, turn in their clothes and baggage, to be steam-dried and fumigated with hydrocyanic acid, and stand before a customs inspector who would check his or her hairy parts, the scalp, armpits, chest, pubic area, and anus for lice. Evidently, the El Paso Morning Times news article sheds light on the degrading health policies taking place at the U.S. border. Furthermore, not only do we learn about women's resistance to these inhumane practices, but we also gain a much larger understanding of how bath riots were a response to racialized public health policies that discriminated against Mexicans considered disease carriers.
Killing Chicanos is what they want. Blacks and Chicanos killing each other is what they want. That's how they run this place. Once we get together, they don't run shit. You got a lot to learn about being Chicano.
Yeah, Alcatraz, midget loco. Yeah. They never seen this coming, man. What up, Loom? What up, Oreo? 500 years of captivity. What else? Now they try to tell us how we supposed to be, how we supposed to act, how we supposed to rap. How I'm brown but my flow too black. Come on, y'all kidding me, right? Nike Air Flights fitted cock back fresh. Representando Mexicanos on the map. No estoy jugando, got bars like a battle on smack. But hold on, I'ma bring it right back. My people indigenous. I'm not sure if you getting this. By the time I'm done, you gon' be feeling this. I come from the people they call Mexica. I've been to the motherland, Chichen Itza. Seen the Mayan ruins, intellectual architects. Been in the cenote, seen ancient artifacts. Cali is Mexico, those are the facts. They raped women, gave elders heart attacks. It was a battle, our people were outgunned. Took life and cattle, we were outdone. However, 2 wars proudly we take to the grave. Those we call our Independence Day. It's time to stand up, educate our people. Stay on our ground, let them know that we equal. We see your plan, but your plan is see-through. You can't stop my people. Mexicano, I'm brown and proud. Mexicano, I'm brown and proud. Mexicano, I'm brown and proud. Mexicano, I'm holding it down.
It's a story with Mexicas, Mexicano. Gave birth to the word that we know as Chicanos. Aztec warrior, man, it's all in my blood. From the Tenochtitlan, that's the heart of the love. Now I'm Mexico City, that's a modern day name. Don't let the books confuse it to be a modern day slave. Gotta get your facts right and study the culture. Don't be like Cortez, he came like a vulture. Came to just steal and take away the land. He seen what we got and he was like, damn, who would've guessed it had to be a white man. Damn it, man. Now we got stolen lands. They say go back to where the fuck you from. Man, this is my land, that's what you stole from us. I'm not Hispanic or Latino, I'm a Mexican. Man, fuck La Milicia, you can have that bitch.
It's time to stand up, educate our people. Stay on our ground, let them know that we equal. We see your plan, but your plan is see-through. You can't stop my people. Mexicano, I'm brown and proud. Mexicano, I'm brown and proud. Mexicano, I'm brown and proud. Mexicano, I'm holding it down.
Ical, hijo, abre los ojos. Tu cuerpo se queda con nosotros pero tu espíritu debe seguir. Busca la luz. Aléjate de las sombras. Deja que nuestro dolor sea tu fuerza. Desde aquí iluminamos tu camino. Lucha como nosotros ante esta pena tan grande. Yo soy tú. Tú eres yo. La muerte que hoy nos separa, mañana volverá a unirnos. Eres libre, hijo.